Alright, so let's talk about your test review for your Unit 5 rational number end of unit exam. I already have a lot of work on here, but I'll go through it. The high temperature on Monday was 41 degrees. The temperature on Tuesday was negative 13. What's the difference in temperature? So a difference is subtraction. So 41 minus a negative 13. Well, as we learned in class, subtracting a negative. So a negative makes something opposite. So the opposite of subtraction. Or if you think about it, the difference between 41 degrees and negative 13 degrees. Try to keep that separate there. Well, negative 13 is 13 spots away from 0. And 41 is 41 spots away from 0. So if I put those two together, or change this to addition, because subtracting a negative is like adding, it's 54. That's how we get 54 degrees. A person jumps 3 1/4 feet in the air. His friend jumps 1 3/8 feet in the air. What's the distance between the two jumps? We talked about how we multiply these by 2 to get a common denominator. And then I take and say, okay, 3 and 2. I make this improper by taking 8 times 3 and then adding 2. So 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2 is 26. And then 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11, so there's 11. So I subtract these two, and I get 15. 15 over 8, and then I simplify. 8 goes into 15 just one time, and then there's 7 left over, so 1 7/8. What's another way to write negative 17 plus 10? Well, it kind of goes back up to this number 1 here, where you have the opposite of a minus sign. Same thing here, opposite of a minus sign. So we just change that to a plus. So this is another way to write negative 17 minus 10, negative 17 plus 10. Determine the product of the following numbers, negative 10, 9, and 8. It's a positive 720, and here's how. Negative 10 times a positive 9. Well, a negative times a positive is a negative value, and 10 times 9 is 90. And take that, multiply it by negative 8. Negative times negative is a positive, and 90 times 8 would be 720. 720. What is the sum of negative 29 and 16? So if you have negative 29, you're on the number line here, and you're at negative 29, and you add 16 to it. So if you had all these numbers here, and you just adding goes this way. So you go 16 spaces this way, and you end up at negative 13. A bank account is overdrawn if it has a negative balance. Your bank account is overdrawn by $18, so that's negative 18. What is the balance? What will the balance be if you spend $78 on your debit card and then deposit $247? So you had a balance of negative 18, and then you bought something else for $78. So another negative 78, or you could say negative 18 minus 78. That's negative 96. So you had a negative 96 balance, and then you put in 247. So you add that to it. Negative 96 plus 247 is 151. So C would be your answer there. A paper airplane is 12 feet above sea level, and a toy submarine is 5 feet below sea level. Write a sentence describing the difference in height of the paper airplane and toy submarine. So this is the math sentence that you have to write. Another way to put it is like this. If you're thinking about it, well, here's 0. That's sea level. The paper airplane is 12 feet above sea level, and the toy submarine is 5 feet below sea level. So this is the distance here is 12, and the distance here is 5. So we put those two together. This is another time where you can subtract a negative. That's like adding. So 12 minus negative 5 is also saying like 12 plus 5. That equals 17. Alright, so let's go to the back side now. Draw a number line and model the following problem. So -9. So drawn out like this. So -9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So from 0 to -9. And then add 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 3. So -9 plus 12 is equal to a +3. Which statement below is true? In other words, if you were to work these out, which one is correct? Negative times a negative will be positive, so that answer should be positive, so that's not right. Negative times a positive would be negative, so that's not right. Same thing here. Positive times divided by, this is your division problems. Positive divided by a negative would be a negative. So the only one that could be right is this one. Positive divided by negative is negative. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So that's the correct answer. A fish is at a depth of 56 feet below sea level and then rises by 31 feet. What's the depth of the fish now? So also, if I did a number line this way, -56 would be like way down here. And then it went up, rose by 31. So if you were to count up, that would be, so go up 31, be -25. And this is the math problem for it. So -56 and you add 31 is 25. A table below shows transactions from different accounts. Fill in the missing numbers. So if the account balance is 27, that means I must have put $27 in there. So a +27 to make it 27. Then I take that 27 and I take away 80. So it's like I purchased or took out $80. And that would make me have -53, a balance of -53. And then with that -53, I added 98. And that's how I got that 45. Now if you're thinking I could actually take 53 away from this and get that 45, so +45. And then I added 456 more. So that would be, so 1, make sure to do math right here, 0, so yeah, $501. The last one here, the temperature at midnight was 2 degrees. By noon it fell 7 degrees, and by evening it rose by 8 degrees. So here we got to make sure we follow all of the things that it's telling us. So the temperature at midnight was 2, so it was 2. There's 2 right there. By noon it fell 7 degrees. It didn't fall to 7 degrees. It fell 7 degrees. Besides 7 here, if it's at 2, it's not going to fall to 7. That would rise to 7. So this is a drop of 7 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then by evening it rose by 8 degrees. Not to 8 degrees, by 8 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it ended up right here at +3. Write a numerical expression to represent the temperature change. Alright, so I started at 2 degrees. It fell 7 degrees. And by evening it rose 8 degrees. And then what's the temperature in the evening? Well, showing your work is just answering the problem. 2 minus 7 plus 8 equals a +3. So that's your review.